Welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner Podcast. My name is Coach Scott. I'll be your host today. It is Friday, September 11th. Man, geez, you know, that date kind of just hits you, right? It just hits you in the gut a little bit when you say it. I don't even think I really noticed it was September 11th today until I just said it. Got a lot to talk about today. I haven't done a solo podcast in a couple of weeks. We've just been having a lot of guests lately. All of those podcasts, by the way, are doing really, really well. The one with the Iron Cowboys, definitely getting a ton of hits and a lot of attention. Really appreciate you guys watching that and the feedback on that one. The John Tipton one got a lot of attention as well, and so did the Sue Reynolds one, which was just out yesterday. I'm going to be doing a little bit more publicity with that today, getting that out there. I don't think I put it on Twitter yesterday, but it'll be out there. All of them really, top-notch interviews. The Sue Reynolds one, man, oof, what a great story she has. What an amazing example of how you can go from, 335 pounds at the age of 60 to going to the World Championships a couple years later, like 4 years later, and competing at the top level of her age group. Just an amazing story of someone really just putting their life together. I don't know. I'm in awe of her. But we have, we skipped over our happy hour a couple weeks ago. It was Labor Day weekend. Well, that was, I guess, last week. We skipped over it just because it was a tough weekend for everybody, and we're going to be reinstating that next week. Allison Knott will be with us, our team dietitian. 2 weeks after that will be the first weekend of October. It'll be October 2nd, I believe. We're going to have Tim and Jill Murphy come on the happy hour. And these are Friday nights, 7:30. We all just kind of huddle around Zoom and get that done. So we're going to have them. They are the owners of 4Run3, which is a local running store to me. So we're going to talk a lot about equipment, about running, just running equipment, vests versus belts versus, we'll talk about some nutrition products. We'll talk about different kinds of shoes, different brands, all that stuff. And they are the experts on that. So I'm going to kind of let them take over from them. And then 2 weeks after that, I believe I'm trying my best. And I believe I have her roped in. I think that Sue Reynolds is going to join us on the happy hour. And that would be amazing. That would be a really cool one too. So I'm super psyched for where the happy hour is going in terms of how we're developing that as a platform to talk to you guys. And I got to tell you, Sue was like, oh, I just get to talk to like a nice group of runners. She's like, I would love that. I would love that. So hopefully we can make that happen for you guys. She was an amazing guest. I tell you, I do like the camera. When I do the Zoom interview, it's like the camera, it gets like sort of a wider angle. It's very strange now that I can see, the monitor, and you don't. It's like you can see when you're on the Zoom, you can see that I'm in the basement because you can see the window in the back. And it drives me nuts because I hate like that whole cliche about podcasting from your mom's basement. Like, this is my house. It's not my mom's basement, guys. Like, I'm not podcasting. This is my house. This is my studio. And that's why I kind of try to you can maybe see the top of it, like right up here. I don't know. But it drives me nuts when I'm on the Zoom. I don't like the Zoom camera angle. I'd rather just do it myself. But then I can't get the guests. So getting the guests is definitely a one-up, I think, for the Zoom. So let's talk a little bit about training, because it's been a while since we've talked, and it's been a while since we've had sort of like just some alone time, just me and you guys. I have been doing these morning workouts, and I want to thank Todd Seiden and Ron Booz and occasionally Mike Romans for joining me in the morning. 5 a.m. We've been getting up every day for the last 4 weeks and getting something done on Zwift, which is our bike platform. We have been live streaming them all. And we're going through the 6-week FTP Builder program, which is supposed to make you a stronger cyclist. And it's very strange because working out in the morning is different for me. And I don't know if you guys get this feeling too. I love the feeling of accomplishment when I'm done with a morning workout. That is for sure. I love checking the box and moving on with my day and knowing that anything I do later on is kind of like, it's like gravy on top. It's like extra. And I love that feeling. But definitely when I wake up in the morning and that alarm rings and it's 4:30, my bones are creaky. Everything kind of is a little bit sore. It takes a while to loosen up. I tell you, I watched those live stream videos, and Nick Doe was the one that pointed it out to me. He's like, look at your energy 5 minutes in versus 45 minutes in. And so I did. And 5 minutes in, man, I can't I'm cranking the pedals at like 70 RPM, and my voice is like still like that wakey voice, that raspy, I don't want to be up right now. And then fast forward like 40 minutes, and yeah, you're 40 minutes into a workout. So you're sweating and you're kind of getting in that groove. But man, it's night and day. When the cadence hits like 80 to 85, all of a sudden things are moving, things are spinning, and you're working hard, and it's a much better feeling. You're wide awake, and it's been great. It's been great to get that done in the morning, and I want to thank those guys for being there, because it's like an extra level of accountability. Accountability. I find that there's like a 3-step process, right? For me, this is Scott's 3 steps to getting your butt out of bed. The first one is motivation, right? You're training for something, you want to get that done, you feel like but all right, I know I need to do an Ironman next year. This is the only time I'm going to get my workout in. I got to do it for myself. You get up out of bed and you get that done. Now, some days that just ain't enough. And then that second level is that accountability. It's, you know what? No one's looking, so I probably would be able to get away with staying in bed today. But I'm meeting a couple guys, and they're going to know if I don't show up. And they're waiting for me to kind of lead the group and get that together. Not that they need me, but, they're waiting for me. So then you get your butt out of bed for somebody else. It's easier to get your butt out of bed when you're meeting other people than it is just for yourself. And the last step, that third step, is the discipline. It's the I don't want to go. I don't want to do it. I don't care if those guys are there or not, but this is what I do, so I have to do it. And that discipline, getting that discipline ingrained in you, doing things when you know you have to, but you don't want to. That's that third level. And I got to tell you, the accountability level, not having to kind of dig deep to get to that discipline level, that's kind of where I've been hanging for like the last 4 weeks with this thing. I think I was good with the motivation going in, and I felt good, but there's been definitely some mornings where I woke up and I kind of thought, all right, I can just kind of hit the snooze button a couple more times and I'd still be all right. But knowing that those guys are there and waiting, it gets me out of bed every single time. So that's just the way it's been. Now, the workouts themselves have been very kind of hit and miss. Like they give you a whole lot of sort of zone 2 workouts. They call them foundation, which is like, we would probably as coaches refer to it as sort of like a base type of workout where you sit in zone 2 and, you might have some recovery sets or whatever, but you just kind of getting the work done. And I like those. Those are pleasant. Those are fun. And then they do some other ones. One of them is like a threshold. I forget what they call them. Threshold something or other. It's threshold. I don't know. Something about threshold, where they bring you up to your FTP and they make you ride hard for a certain period of time. And those ones are hard. And there's also tempo, where they have you go into like that zone 3, elevate your heart rate a little bit more, give you a little bit more resistance. And those suck too. They suck, but you know that they're good for you, So we're on week 4. We're 2/3 of the way through now, and it feels good. And I'm really excited about getting these next 2 weeks done, and then taking that FTP test and seeing how things worked out, and seeing if it worked, and seeing if I got any stronger on the bike. Now, the second portion of what's been going on the last couple weeks has been surrounding diet. Now, Matt Schorer has been doing intermittent fasting. Now, intermittent fasting, for those of you guys that don't know, it's not like you fast for days or for weeks or anything like that. I mean, it's not a juice diet, although I guess it could be in technical sense. But it's basically taking portions of your day and basically only eating during specific hours and not eating for at least, and I think the minimum level typically is about 16 hours. So that's kind of where we started. Steph and I actually did this, and we started at 16 hours trying to not eat for 16 hours. And you kind of try to find the best, most advantageous spot, right? That you open that eating window for yourself. And within that eating window too, you're not gorging yourself. You are trying to get your calories in. You're trying to be healthy with them. Get the right mix of healthy foods in that window. But typically what it is, so for us, we started it at about, I think the first day we did like 11 to 7. So we ate breakfast at 11 a.m. We ate until 7 p.m. at night, and then we shut it down. And then we did and then we kind of realized that it was very difficult to wait till 11 a.m., especially when you're waking up at 5 a.m. for a bike ride. Very difficult to wake up at 5 and wait till 11 a.m. to eat. So we brought it back an hour, and that seemed to work a little bit better. So we were doing 10 to 6, and then we kind of mix it up a little bit, 9 to 5, 10 to 6, depending on the day. There's an app that we have that we click it when we're done eating, and it counts how many hours. And I made it through that first week. I think really I only maybe had a little bit of a lapse the last day, which was Labor Day weekend. It was Sunday. We went out to dinner. We opened a bottle of wine, and well, you can't let the bottle of wine stay open until the next day. You have to drink it that night. So we stayed up and we watched a movie, finished the bottle of wine. I think, my mother-in-law was here too, and she offered to watch the baby for us. So we went out for a little bit. Outdoor seating. We wore the masks. It's all good, people. I don't want you guys to get mad at me for COVID purposes. But anyway, we broke the rules a little bit on that day. I think I only fasted about 13 hours of that, but it was still like we were going in the right direction. All right, we had the right frame of mind in general. Just broke the rules one day out of 7, and that first week I lost 6 pounds, between 5 and 6, let's call it. And I'm struggling to figure it out. I'm not really struggling. I get there's science behind it. I'm not a dietitian. I'm not a nutrition. I'm not going to just sit here and spew the science to you guys, because some of it I don't necessarily know. It's funny. I did talk to Allison Knott about it, and I was asking her some questions, and she's like, well, who told you that you can't do that? And I said, well, the guy on the video with the abs. And she's like, don't listen to the guy on the video with the abs. Like, you have to kind of figure it out. You have to do it the right way. And I'm glad that I have Allison there to help me and guide me. But I think for me, after I evaluated, I did it for a week. I told Matt I would do it for a week. Matt's been very successful at it, although he's due for a weigh-in. I'm anxious to see how he's doing. But he's supposedly doing very, very well with it. And I do appreciate, I appreciate Matt. Matt's kind of like that friend that when he does something, he kind of tries to talk everyone else to doing it, or at least people that he thinks will benefit from it. And I appreciate that. I do. So the problem is you got to tell Matt no sometimes, right? And he doesn't want to hear it. But I think he'll go with me on this. I think I'm saying this. I'm laughing because I think he'd probably laugh with me on this. But anyway, so my problem was this. My problem was with the intermittent fasting and my 5 a.m. workouts. They don't gel. They don't gel together at all. And I'm going to give you an example. So we did I did a ride on Wednesday night last week. I had already fasted, and then I did a ride Wednesday night. I woke up Thursday morning and I had to do a tempo ride. And I had done a very, very similar ride the week before, and I had a little bit of trouble with it, because it was a difficult ride, but I made it through. Fast forward a week, and now I'm doing this fasting. I hadn't been eating in probably about 13 hours, and within those 13 hours, mind you, I had already done a workout the night before, and I couldn't finish that tempo workout, the same one I had done the week before. I couldn't finish it, and it drove me nuts because I'm like, I ran myself on the ground. I was so upset that I wasn't able to do it. And I started, and I don't look for things to blame. I try to analyze the situation. Situation was, look, I should be a little bit more fit than I was the week before doing this program, but for some reason I wasn't fueled properly. Oh, that's what it was. You know what it was? We got together with some of Stephanie's friends the night before on Zoom early at 5:00. And they did a little cooking thing on Zoom, and the things that they cooked and the food that we ate, there was no carbs. It was all protein and some dairy. It wasn't really good fueling food. So that was problem number one. Problem number two was that you're waking up and you have no fuel. You're just going off of, and that's a thing too. That's actually a theory that you can work out on an empty stomach, and it helps you develop your fitness. That's an approach that a lot of people use, not fueling in the morning. So combine those two, And I think that was what led to, along with the fact that I'm waking up at 5 a.m., which is just difficult, and day to day is different difficulty levels. So, if you don't sleep that much, the sleeping habits can hurt you. That definitely has an effect. And just, I think, whatever workout you did the day before, however active you were the day before, however sore you are in the morning when you get up, especially as you get older, you run down a lot easier at 5 in the morning. I can tell, like, sometimes when I walk down the stairs at 5 in the morning, some days usually I'm carrying my dog, and some days I'm like, I just walk down the stairs normal. And some days I have to take one step at a time. Like, I got to put both feet on one step and then do the next step. And it's because I'm sore and I'm tired. And it's just, that's the way the muscles work. I don't stretch that well. I'm not very flexible. So, I can tell. So there's different factors that go in there, but I really thought that the lack of nutrition and fueling going into that ride hurt me on that ride. In addition, now that I'm working out at 5 a.m. and I'm not eating breakfast till like 10 or 11, I lose that window of post-workout when you're supposed to kind of protein up, carb up, and just kind of you feed those muscles so that they can repair themselves, and it helps you with your fitness. Repair those muscles, that's how the muscles grow. And so now I'm waiting from 6 a.m. until 10 a.m., so 4 hours, and you lose that window. And the last I've heard, it's most advantageous to eat kind of like when you've kind of settled down, your heart rate's dropped, and within that first half hour of finishing a workout. However, you can still reap benefits from it up to 2 hours after, but up to 4 hours after, you're way outside that window. And now, so why am I busting my butt getting up at 5 a.m. when I'm not getting the most benefit as I can? So that's been my thought process, and that's what's kind of going through my head. And so what I adapted to this week, and it's been relatively successful, is that on days when I have the foundation workouts, those base workouts, where I'm just sitting in zone 2 for the most part, and yeah, you do sweat, and yeah, it is work, I continue my fast. So I continue to I try to get to that 16-hour point, and then I eat breakfast after. So yeah, I do miss those benefits of eating right after, but it's not the kind of workout that's really going to press you and develop muscle or anything like that. It's really cardiovascular and just trying to kind of stay in that zone 2 and build up your endurance, your base, your foundation. But on days that I have a tough workout, like this morning's workout was the toughest one that we've done so far, way tougher than last Thursday's was, and I was able to complete it. So I'm happy that I was able to complete it. I think that part of that success was due from changing the routine a little bit and being a little bit more open-minded to fueling in the morning. Instead of drinking water, I drank Gatorade Endurance, that's what's on the Ironman course. So in that bottle is about, I don't know, like maybe 150 to 200 calories of electrolyte, lovely, luscious fluid. It was good. It's orange. And then I had an apple this morning. Usually I'll have like a bar, an energy bar or something. I just didn't have any on me. There was none in the house today. So I just grabbed the first thing, was an apple. And I do think that helped. It did feel like it helped. It felt like it gave me a little bit more of a kick in the morning, bright and early when I first got on the bike. So it did feel like it helped. And, fasting doesn't necessarily have to be something. I think that there are some benefits. And again, I'm not a dietitian. I think that there are some benefits to like the long term and doing it over and over and over again. And maybe if I don't do it every day, I might not see those long-term benefits of doing it every day, but the short-term benefits of doing it every other day or 5 out of 7 days a week, or however many times I have that long workout, or when I need that energy in the morning, ending the fast a little early. Now, by the way, it was still like a 12-hour fast or a 12.5-hour fast, which isn't nothing. So I still kind of keep in the mind frame of, when I'm done with dinner, I'm done eating. And I tell you, that has been, that theory alone has been a godsend, because what it does is it takes out alcohol while watching TV. So you don't open that bottle of wine, right? You have a cup of coffee, or you can drink black coffee while fasting, and you can also drink water. So those are the two things that we drink. I think you can also drink tea. It's just not in my rotation. So I dropped 5 or 6 pounds the first week. I'm still, the rate of decrease this week has dropped, partially expected because I am fueling in some of those mornings. And, maybe I'm not completely, I think we went to Red Robin for lunch one day, and they just give you those French fries and they keep coming. And I probably had a little bit too many of those. And, just like little things like that. But overall, I'm still in the general down direction when it comes to weight. I'm feeling pretty good about it. And it's been a good experiment. And it's been an experiment where, look, I think I'm going to continue with it. And what I was saying about the way I'm going to continue with it because it leads me to good habits, even if I'm not exactly precisely on every single day. So not eating at night, right? And so also when you compress the hours that you're allowed to eat into 9 to 5, it's almost difficult to get all those calories in. So I almost naturally, when I take out the calories that I would have eaten from 6 a.m. until 10 a.m., and then from, 6 p.m. until we go to bed, I'm probably going from like a 3,000 calorie diet to like a 2,000 calorie diet. And that helps. I mean, that's huge. That's huge. So it all helps. It seems to be working. I've kind of grasped, I've grasped onto it, and I'm going to continue to do it for the next few weeks as long as it seems to be working and things seem to be developing in the right way. So it's sort of like a modified intermittent fasting, if you will. And I kind of like it. So far, so good. So I definitely thank Matt for introducing me to it and for getting me started on it. I think it was a good experience to kind of really stick to it that first week and see what it's all about. And now that I'm modifying it, I haven't abandoned it. I've just sort of modified it for myself and how I think it can maximize my athletic fitness, right? So it's going to help on days that I'm doing those tough workouts. I'm going to get some fuel in beforehand, and I'm going to get that rejuvenation, that rebuild of muscle after with that protein and refueling of the carbs after. And then on days when I do foundation or on rest days, I'm going to stay true to that 16-hour fast. And I don't know, I kind of like the idea. Hopefully that weight continues to go down. Hopefully my pants start to fit better. And hopefully things go well. And I can't wait. I tell you, the next thing, I really can't wait for this next 2 weeks to be over of our 6-week program. And then we're going to hop on that bike and do another FTP test and see if there's been any improvement. But I'm looking forward to that. I hope you guys are sticking to it. By the way, Denise Morris, thanks for coming out. Denise, one of my clients, came up and visited me about 3 days ago. I did a hard workout in the morning, and then I met her, and we went out to the park, and we ran hills together. That was awesome. We had a great time. It's always awesome when my clients come visit me. I think it's great. But I just wanted to mention that. And anyway, I hope you guys have a good day. Continue the training. Keep doing well. And remember, every day is an ordinary day unless you make it extraordinary. So get after it, guys.